Hi everyone, welcome to our virtual open day for biology here at the University of Oxford. We are going to be live on this platform for the next hour, answering any questions that you have relating to biology as a course and what it's like to live and work and study here at Oxford. My name is Caitlin and I work in the communications side for the biology department, but more interestingly, I am joined by four of our current students who are always the people best placed to answer these questions that you have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by asking each of the students to introduce themselves, and then we will roll through any questions that you may have over this next hour. There are two ways that you can ask questions of us today. Firstly, on the main university open day page, if you navigate to the biology page, there is an embedded kind of typed question on the Slido platform. Or additionally, you can make your way to the biology YouTube channel, and questions that you type in there will also be picked up by us and answered. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the four of our students. So first up, hi Alana, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Alana. I'm about to go into my second year of the biology course, and that feels really weird to say. And I'm at Worcester College.
I'm a second year going into third year student, and so it may or may not be my final year, which is pretty crazy. And I'm studying at Hilda's College.
Wonderful, thank you. Hi Jane, introduce yourself, please. Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, sorry, I was just saying. I'm also going into my second year, and I'm studying at St Anne's College.
Fabulous. And last but not least, hot off the press, we have a recent graduate. We have Josh.
Hi, so I've just finished my degree and now I'm going on to do a master's, and I studied at Balliol College.
Wonderful. Fabulous. Thanks, guys. So these are the four students that we have answering our questions today. So looking through questions that are coming in first and foremost. A nice, easy question to start us off. Alana, I think I'm going to go to you on this one. What was it that made you choose this biology course?
So for me, I kind of knew from the start that I wanted to do a course that was just like straight biology. So for me, that kind of ruled out quite a few. But then for quite a while, I wasn't really sure about whether or not I was going to apply to Oxford or not, because I was thinking, oh, I don't know if it's the place for me. But I was really looking. I got a place on the unique summer school between year 12 and 13, I think. And that really solidified that I wanted to come here because I got to look at kind of the learning spaces. I did some labs. I had like a mini tutorial. I got to talk to the tutors. And also like student ambassadors and things, and that really helped me to decide. And that was like, oh, this could actually be the right place for me. And then I applied, and here I am. Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you, Alana. Okay. Elizabeth, I think I'm going to ping this one to you. With someone asking if you can just talk a little bit about what college life is like. Obviously, at Oxford, we have a college system, so people are always keen to hear about.
Yeah. So college life for me is, I mean, to be fair, college life can kind of be like a wide variety of things. But for me, it's basically where I relax, take a break from like all the department related stuff. Although we do actually have tutorials in college, but mostly for me, it's like where I spend my downtime and I just do whatever I kind of want at that present moment. The college facilities kind of vary between college. At Hilda's, we have quite a nice student run bar, and we've also got all the college accommodations have some degree of kitchen. So that's pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely a very popular place to hang out, especially in the evenings, socializing in the bar, playing table football, occasionally breaking the football table. But yeah, it's all pretty fun.
That does sound fun. Actually, I'm going to open this up to the floor because I mean we're all at different colleges here. Anyone else want to chime in a little bit about their college experience? Oh, Jane, unmute.
Again, what is going on with me? Sorry. I was just going to say, the benefits of just having a college system, I definitely really felt, especially like first year, because you are already a concentrated group of people. I think there's around 120 people at St. Anne's in my year. So that automatically meant that it was easier to just kind of get to know more people, because outside of obviously our subjects, it was just really, it basically facilitates getting to know a lot of people in your college, and I really enjoyed that about first year.
Oh well, Anna, you're on mute as well. We're doing really well here.
Oh no, am I on mute still?
You're good now.
All right. Just kind of on the same lines as what Jane was saying as well. It's really nice. So at my college there are 5 biologists in my year, so that's quite nice as well, because if like we're all struggling on the same kind of topic, we can chat about that. And it's nice as well to have kind of like a group that you can go off to lectures and labs together as well. And we just kind of help each other out if we're struggling, which is really nice as well.
No, sounds lovely. And Josh, without putting you on the spot, you've sadly just left us, and college buddies, you think you'll kind of, there's that friendship that will continue, I guess, post Oxford.
So I lived with my friends throughout the whole 3 years of my degree in college accommodation. And we still have like weekly Skype chats and like Zoom calls and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely a place where you sort of make connections that last a bit longer. Yeah, that's about it really.
Cool. So we've had one question come in. Again, another question that we get asked a lot is top tips to include in personal statement. So, do you think that people are more interested? Is there more interest in kind of personal hobbies or kind of academic progression? So I'm fearful that we've lost Jane. I think she might have frozen for a little bit. So I'm going to go to you, Elizabeth. I'm going to, I guess, just ask you, do you have any top tips from when you did your personal?
Okay, well, it was kind of a while ago. I mean, not really. I think the most important thing is to show that you're passionate and you've done some like wider reading that demonstrates why you want to do the course, apart from sort of purely focusing on entirely academic achievements, but because the tutor kind of wants to see if you have the interest and the willing to learn more out of your degree rather than just pure academic excellence.
Sure. Jane, I think you're back with us. The question was top tips for personal statement. Do you have anything kind of to add and kind of?
I guess, I didn't hear what was been said already, but I guess the biggest thing is just really showing, rather than having to say directly why, like how you're interested in biology, and really just giving evidence of where you've kind of gone above and beyond to improve your interest above the A-level spec.
Fabulous. Thank you. Another question just coming through again, we get asked a lot, is about the interview. So Alana, I'm coming to you. How was your interview? Asked this person, and any kind of recommended preparation ahead of time?
I'm not on mute, am I? No.
You're good.
In terms of preparation, I would kind of read around the subject or like specific things you're interested in as much as you can beforehand, and that includes as well like seeing like if there's any biology in the headlines as well, because that might get brought up in interview. Probably the biggest advice I would give for interviews is to try and stay calm as much as you can, because I know I went into mine, I was terrified, but it was really nice. The tutors were lovely. It was nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. I even at one point tripped over a chair, but it was fine. I honestly wouldn't worry too much about the interviews. Just try and stay calm as much as you can, and if you feel like you don't know the answer to a question, just try and say something, even just to show like the thought process, like what's going on inside your head, even if you're not 100% sure whether what you're saying is right or not.
And I think we were talking with our tutors this morning as well, and they're obviously the link between the personal statement and the interview, should you get to that. And they were just, I guess, stressing that, just be honest and, don't, put anything into your personal statement, I guess, that you wouldn't be comfortable talking about in depth when it came to your interview. Okay, who am I going to ask this one of? I think I'm going to come to you, Josh. I know you've just left us, but can you describe what kind of a day in the life of a typical biology student, or maybe a week, I guess, is a fairer answer, because I know kind of weeks kind of have rhythms and patterns to them. So how would you describe kind of a typical week?
So usually like Monday to Friday, I tended to we had lectures all the way through the week. So you tend to kind of structure your day around your lectures. So you go to your lectures, then after lectures, I would write up my notes on the lecture. I like to do it straight away. Some people like to leave it a bit. Might have a lab. Those are like 1 or 2 days a week, and that kind of would be in the afternoon. So you'd go to your lecture in the morning, have lunch, go to lab, and then on the weekend I would always take 1 day off. And I think that's really important, just to take 1 day off where you do no academic work, do something you really want to do, go to the bar with your friends at night or something like that. And then on the Sunday I would work on my essay and try and get lots of reading done for that. And that would be my typical sort of week.
Yeah. And Josh, you were very big on kind of the extracurricular as well, weren't you? I think you were in the BioSoc, were you?
Yeah, so
I remember that correctly.
So in my second year, I was the secretary of the BioSoc. So every week we'd have like one speaker in who would come and do a big talk. And yeah, for that, it wasn't too much work. To be fair, we did most of the work and the organising in the holidays. And then in the term time, it was kind of just turn up on the night, get the speaker in. The fun bit was going for a meal with them after in college. And then we may have a few socials, like a bar crawl or something in between.
Fun. And Alana, am I remembering this correctly? Are you an ice skater?
Yeah, I do ice skating the weekends. I spent quite a lot of my time on the floor, but I try my best. But that's really fun as well. And I also do some dance during the week of an evening as well. And as Josh says, it is really important to like allocate time to do like societies or to see friends as well. Because it is tough doing a degree, and it is important to have enough time off to relax and enjoy the experience.
Yeah, totally agree. A big extracurricular fan here as well. Okay. What question do we have coming up now? I think a lot of people also asked us about the variety within the biology course, and do we kind of focus on statistics? Do we have areas that kind of branch into biochemistry, into neuroscience, into computational biology? I'm going to put it out to the floor. Do any of you wish to talk maybe a bit about the breadth of what it is we cover in the undergraduate course?
I guess. Oh yeah, I'm on. I guess in first year. Oh, sorry. Like we have three key themes, which are obviously covered diversity of life, which is kind of like the whole kingdom of life, yeah. But we've also got building a phenotype, which is your genetics area, and then we've got ecology and evolution. So across those three, it is really quite broad. I think it's to note that it's not kind of the human biology kind of things. There can be a bit of confusion with that. So it is those three purely biology topics. And of course, in second year and third year, you can go into more depth, and we do different topics as well. So I think for me, I found it was a really good breadth of topics.
Mm-hmm. And Josh, given that I keep saying it, you've done your complete degree now, you obviously specialised towards the end. Can you talk a bit about that process?
Yeah, so I think when most people come and start the biology degree, they already know they're kind of in one of two groups. So they're either like really cells and genetics or really ecology and behaviour. And I was in the ecology and behaviour section. So by the end of my degree, I was like just doing ecology all the time. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely room to, if you're scared that you're going to have to do stuff that you don't like that's mainly in the first year where you have to do the whole breadth and cover everything. And then you go in through the ecology, then you can choose and specialise and get more towards what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. So we had another question just come through. So I'm going to come to you, Elizabeth. And again, racking your brain back to those interviews when you first came. Can you give an example of a question that you were asked? People are always keen to kind of hear kind of example questions. We should stress these. Obviously, these interviews vary across colleges, and obviously depends on the tutor asking the question. So these are but examples. But can you remember anything specific?
I do remember being asked some general questions, like why did you apply to Oxford? Why did you choose biology and not medicine? And then, and then there were also some quite specific questions based on what I'd written in my personal statement. So sort of just following up on, like, so I'd mentioned some broad content in my personal statement, and they just kind of asked me to expand on it. And then, of course, there was the objects. I think in my case, they had some seed pods, and then you were asked to talk about like their adaptations and kind of whatever you could think about.
Yeah, thank you. There's another question coming through asking about the importance of having a kind of a chemistry A level, or how much chemistry is in the course. Alana, I'm going to ping this one over to you.
Hi. I didn't do chemistry A level, so I didn't have that background. I think it's in the building a phenotype theme. There is more of a chemistry focus in that. So I struggled a little bit with that theme, but I found it was all right. And some of the other students in my college, they had done a chemistry A level, so if I was stuck, I just kind of asked them, just like, oh, what does this mean? And also at the end of the lectures, normally the lecturer will kind of stay behind for 5 or 10 minutes. So if you do have any questions, you can ask them. And also they always say, like, if you think of a question later on, feel free to email me. And also tutors are there as well. If you're struggling, you can ask them. Textbooks as well, Google. I would say that you don't necessarily need the chemistry A level to be able to manage the course. So
yeah. Good to know. Thank you. I'm going to come to you, Jane, with this one. Oxford has 3 term times, and they're very short, quite intense blocks of 8 weeks. So how do you find that? It's obviously slightly different to other universities, but how do you find those kind of short chunks?
I find it quite interesting how, I guess, different things change over the term times in terms of motivation, how difficult it can get, and that can become more difficult when you're a few weeks in. I think it's like the 5th week blues, just because everything starts to get a bit intense. I think one of the important things to remember is that's totally normal. Everyone's going through that, and it is just a case of remembering that what you're doing. And I find it always sounds like a few days that you're a bit like, oh gosh, this is really difficult, but you do work through it, and you look back on the term and you're like, what, that was a really great 8 weeks. You've got your holidays, it's a bit longer, and it's always worth it, in my opinion. So
And then I'll tag on a second question that's come through to that one, Jane, and we've touched upon it with the question earlier, but and I know there's not going to be a perfect number or answer to this one, but how many hours would you say that you study out with kind of the contact time that you have in biology?
That is a really hard question always.
I know.
I guess it depends. I would say it really varies week to week, of course, largely because outside of contact hours, the 2 main, I guess, work you have to do is note making, going back over lectures, and also your essay of the week. So it does depend on how long that essay of the week takes me to complete, because obviously you're trying to get it in for a good enough standard you're happy with. So I will, I guess, try and get my essays done usually over a 3-day period, hopefully. And then kind of structure my note takings and going back over the stuff around my labs and actual lecture times. I don't want to give a precise hour time for a week, because I would probably give a wrong answer. So and again, everybody's varies week to week. So yeah,
that's fair. Another question come through. Obviously, Oxford's very well known for its tutorial system. So coming to you, Elizabeth, how would you describe a tutorial? How do tutorials go for you?
So most of our tutorials are based on the essay that you've just written. So usually the tutor will start by asking a few overview questions and then going right in and talking about the essay content, and then asking each of us questions as it sort of progresses, and you have the chance to ask for feedback on your essay. They're not always essay-based. Sometimes there are presentations involved where you give a short group presentation. The tutorials sizes for me at least, were generally about 3 or 4 in first year, and then second year it was 1 or 2, occasionally 3.
Nice. And I'm sure you build obviously quite close working relationships with the tutors, which is quite a nice aspect of the system, I think, isn't it? Okay, Alana, I'm coming to you for this one. Obviously, being a science degree, there are lots of labs. So, talk us through some of the labs that you've done, you've enjoyed. What's been chat about them?
Yes, we in first year I had normally 2 labs a week, and they were 3 hours each. And we did loads of different stuff. So we've done quite a lot of like microbiology labs with bacteria. We've used plant specimens before. We've had dissections. All sorts, absolutely all sorts of different things. I really enjoyed them because at my school we didn't really do that many labs, or if we did, they were quite simple. And then coming to the labs here, there's so much equipment, and it makes you feel like it sounds weird, but it makes you feel like a proper scientist when you get given like
I'm sure
stuff in your lab coat, and it's really exciting.
Oh, fab. And sometimes we have teaching labs where I think the majority of the labs happen, but occasionally we have some wonderful facilities here in Oxford. We've got, the Botanic Garden, we've got Whiteton Woods. Did you ever do kind of fieldwork based labs?
I think we spent a day in Whiteton Woods, just as kind of like, I think it was in our orientation period, just so we could kind of see the different areas that we could work into like later on during the degree, and that was really, really nice. And we've also we did as well an orientation day in the Botanic Gardens, and also for my mini project week that we did in orientation as well. I was based in the Botanic Gardens for that, and I was looking into whether snails have territories. So a group were rushing around the Botanic Gardens trying to collect snails and moving them around, and having to try and track them as they made their way back into the flower beds. So that was really nice. And also with the Botanic Gardens as well, because we're students, we can get, I think, free entry, so you can go there anytime you want, and it's a really nice place. I really like it though.
Fabulous. Yeah, it's a really wonderful facility, isn't it? Josh, I'm going to come to you with this one, because I know that you definitely did go on a few field trips. So can you talk about some of the trips on offer in the undergraduate degree?
So in the first year you go to Orielton, which is a little field site in Pembrokeshire, and I think that's the same for the new course. And it's a really, really good week. So you look at like tidal habitats, forests, dune ecosystems, and it's so much fun because you spend all day doing field work, and then you go to the pub in the evening. So it's like the perfect week. Then in the second year, there are now 3 options. So there's Skoma, which is an island in Pembrokeshire. There's the Tenerife. I didn't go on that one, but I did hear it was a really, really good course, and everyone who went on it loved it. And then Borneo, which is the one I went to, and that was my absolute favourite, because now I'm going to do a master's in tropical forest ecology, and I would not have done that if it wasn't for Borneo. Hopefully the current situation will have resolved itself by the time like this year goes on their courses, because it's such a good, I think it's 10 days, and we got to do camera trapping and bird mist netting, and we got to go, what else to do? We did loads of stuff. It was really, really good. But yeah, definitely one of the highlights of my course.
Yeah, and needless to say, Josh, you have taken some stunning photos from them. I use them a lot in my communications. Josh is a stunning photographer, and yeah, that field trip really, really brought out the goods, didn't it? Josh, I'm coming right back to you, because we have a lovely question through from Tariq, who says, hi, you met on the recent Unique course. And Tariq asks, does it matter what college you choose? So is it worth looking at kind of the areas of specialty within the tutors at said college before you make an application there?
So first of all, Tariq, it's great that you're still interested after Unique. So colleges, I wouldn't say it matters too much. So my tutor did evolutionary development, that's what he studies, whereas I'm into tropical forest ecology, and it's a completely different end of the spectrum, but he's still really, really good at supporting me and making sure I got the right grades and I was on track for things. So yeah, they're more sort of pastoral, the college tutors, because you will be sent to other colleges to do tutorials. Like I did a lot of tutorials with Timothy Walker in Somerville College, and Owen Lewis at Brady's Nose and things like that. So yeah, I wouldn't focus too much on it.
Yeah, I guess I give you a question as well, Jane, a similar one. Did you, when you were applying for your college, did you, what were kind of key decision factors for you? Third time's the charm. Come on, you got this.
Yeah, no, it's quite interesting because I did, when I was applying, think about, maybe I should apply to the college with a tutor that's interested in the same areas I am. So I applied to Brasenose, but I didn't end up going there. So that's another point to take into consideration with colleges. Like, a lot of people don't even end up going to the one they're at. And now I'm at St. Anne's, which my tutor is also by chance interested in something I'm also really interested in. So it's again on the ecology evolution spectrum. So it works out in that way potentially, but also, as Josh said, it's not that big of a deal if you don't end up going to the same college as a tutor who's interested in the same subject.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Seeing if what else we have coming through on our questions here. Sorry, guys, give me a moment. Okay, yeah, so I'm finding one now that we get asked quite a lot, and also I guess given the kind of the current circumstances that we're in, that does it go to your disadvantage if you don't have a slew of work experience and lab experience that you can put into your personal statement? So Elizabeth, I'm gonna come to you on this one. Do you think I know there's probably more for a college tutor to answer this one, but I mean, you've got peers and you did your own statement, so is there anything that you can add to this as to, if people have concerns that they don't quite think they've stacked up work experience into their portfolio?
I think one of the great things about biology is that quite a lot of, you don't have to have a formal work experience or internship to say that you've done work experience. Like, on my personal statement, I included a lot of volunteering that I did, which is not that hard to get. Just for a few weeks, but I didn't mention my work experience that much. I more mentioned things I had read and a few seminars that I had attended. So it's one or two examples is never a bad thing, but it's not entirely essential.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much. So I think I'm going to come to you all with this question because it is a delightful question. What has been your favorite element of this course? I'm going to start with you, Alana, and then I'm going to work my way around all.
Oh God, that's a really hard question. Probably for me, one of the things I like the most is probably the variety of different things that we do. Because when I started the course, I didn't really know which particular area I was interested in. So for me, it's quite important to cover quite a lot of different things so I could find where I wanted to go with it. So I've really enjoyed that, and that has kind of helped me to narrow down where I want to go. So that's something I've really enjoyed. I've also enjoyed as well being able to interact with the tutors as well, because they know a lot of stuff. So it's been really nice being able to just kind of talk to them normally, as kind of not a kind of just in a normal conversation with them. I think that's really good as well.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. On to you, Josh.
So it's probably pretty obvious that I like the field courses, so I'll give a different answer. So I think another thing I really liked is getting a tutorial question that you really can kind of get your teeth into and you really enjoy, and then you kind of spend the week sort of sidetracked by that question and just going complete tunnel vision and just focusing on it and getting really interested in it. And then at the end of the week, you get to talk to this tutor who's a world expert in that particular topic and kind of just chat with them for an entire hour about how it went and what you thought about it and ask them all the questions you want. I think that's a really unique part of Oxford, which you don't get in some universities.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Same question for you.
To add on to what Josh and Alana have said, I think that it's pretty cool how you can, like, during the tutorials, you can just challenge instead of just listening and taking down information. You can ask the tutors why something is the way it is. And also, I really appreciated, like, the setting, like being able to have lectures in the Natural History Museum was really cool. Being able to go to the botanical gardens, which is like a really great part of, like, the history of plant science in the UK. Yeah, I thought the setting kind of makes everything just that bit better.
Yeah, you really, really cannot beat that as a setting, really, can you? I think poor Jane has possibly lost internet signal again.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come to back to Alana for this one, I think. Hey, how would you describe Oxford as a city? Obviously, it has this wonderful university that you're attending, but tell me a little bit about the city life.
I really like Oxford as a city. So I'm from a little town in pretty much the middle of nowhere. So it was a big, like, culture shock for me. I was like, there's people everywhere, there's cars all over the place, but it's a really nice city. So especially, my college is kind of, I think it's close to central Oxford, but there are, like, green spaces where you can go and escape if you need to. It's nice to kind of have everything on your doorstep as well. So, like, there's shops nearby, little markets, the botanic gardens. Obviously, you can just walk to those, which is really nice as well. Yeah, I really like Oxford City, and also it's really pretty as well, which is always nice as well. Especially when you walk into lectures, you're really tired, and it's just like, oh, it's such a nice morning here. It helps to wake you up as well.
I'm sure it does. And I guess to that question, obviously there's a lot of kind of preconceived ideas and stereotypes about Oxford and attending the university. Are there any kind of myths that you want to bust out there, Alana? You think, I didn't expect this, and actually,
especially from where I'm from Northern England. So a big myth is that everyone in Oxford is, like, posh. They're from the south, and it's just not true at all. There's so much diversity down there as well. Because I was thinking, oh, when I'm down there, I'm not going to hear a northern accent at all, and that's just not true either. Yeah, I would say don't pay too much attention to all the stereotypes and the myths that surround Oxford, because most of them just aren't true at all.
Yeah, no, agree with that one. Jane, you're back with us. We were just talking about what Oxford is like as a city, out with the university. Do you have what do you love most about being in Oxford?
I love Oxford as a city. I feel like it's got such a great kind of middle way between not too intensely city like somewhere like London, but it's still got this amazing architecture. It's got so many nice cafes to go to if you're taking a break, or restaurants with your friends. Just so much to do as well, like outside of course, the course. And then, of course, it's got, obviously, as mentioned, the benefits to a biology course specifically, the Natural History Museum, the Royal Botanic Gardens. So, yeah, I've loved Oxford, yeah.
I'm just chuckling because another question has come in, which is a fair question, and I want you guys to be honest. What's your least favourite part of the course? We've been singing the praises, but let's get into the nitty gritty here. What's the challenging component of this course? I'm going to start with you. I'll put you on the spot here.
So for me, it was kind of I think what I found, not necessarily something that I strongly disliked, but I found doing the labs really challenging, because it kind of, like, you never really knew what you were going to expect when you go into a lab. So our lab sessions are normally about 3 hours long, and sometimes you can be in the lab for up to 4 hours, sometimes it can be for 2 hours. So sometimes when you're feeling really tired, it's, like, not ideal, but sometimes it's pretty good. So I don't think it's, like, something that is not enjoyable. It's just something that it kind of that you got to get used to. But the actual practicals in themselves are generally pretty interesting. So that kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, good answer. And I'm going to tap on a second question to you there, Elizabeth, because someone has asked, is kind of the working contact hours day 9 to 5 with biology, and you mentioned sometimes that the labs are quite long and intensive. Do you often, kind of contact hours wise, do you often find yourself in later than 5?
Not usually, especially not in first year. most tutorials and labs will definitely end before 5. In second year, I had a few tutorials that were later than that, but those were generally like self-arranged, so it's not really that common. I think biology, compared to a lot of the science degrees in Oxford, has a pretty good sort of like work-life balance, which is great.
You're nodding there. You agree, Alana?
Yeah, I was just going to say, in first year, I found most days I had contact hours 9 till 3. And then sometimes I'd have, just depending when my tutor could fit us in, sometimes I'd maybe have a tutorial of 3 till 4, or it'd be in the morning. But yeah, sorry. I found the work-life balance quite nice as well, because some of my other friends that are doing science degrees, their labs are like 6 hours long, and then they've got 2 or 3 lectures as well, and they'd be saying, I was in the lab till like 6 p.m. and I was like, I've been at home for like 3 hours by then. Yeah, so I think it definitely is manageable.
And Josh, given that you have completed your degree with us, what kind of looking back, what did you find kind of the most challenging component of the course, or dare I say, an element that you weren't so keen on?
I'm gonna also say labs. I'm a bit of a train wreck in the lab. If I don't know what I'm doing beforehand, I kind of go in there, panic, mess something up. One time I dropped a vial of E. coli into a water bath, and then I forgot to do something, and the whole experiment was messed up. Labs are kind of like, I think they're probably the most similar thing you'll get to Bake Off without being on Bake Off. But the great thing is, if you're into ecology, you can just drop them afterwards and do field work, which is a lot more chill and a lot more walk in the woods kind of vibe. And that's my sort of thing.
I just like that you've compared it to Bake Off. That was great. So we've got a question through here. So I'm going to give to you, Jane. It says, in which year and to what extent can you choose your tutors? So obviously, I think you're kind of connected to tutors inevitably that are at your college, but what kind of choice or arrangements can be made on top of that?
So I know for first year, you'll have some tutorials with your college tutor, and they'll be the ones really to arrange what other tutorials you have with different tutors. But they kind of split that between the 3 themes quite equally. And then second year, though, I think quite soon actually we're going to be able to start organising our own tutorials. So that would mean there is I think quite a really good level of being able to choose what you want to do, but also you do try and split it off, because it's also practice tutorials, so it's worth looking at lots of different areas of the specification. But yeah, so you are still able to choose areas that interest you more, which I think is really exciting.
Great, thank you. Alana and Josh, I'm going to come to you both with this one, because I know that you have come through the unique program, but here at Oxford we are trying to provide various access programs to get a diverse group of students into our degree course. So we have Opportunity Oxford, we have Unique. Do you both want to take turns in talking a little bit about what, firstly, to the people watching, what Unique is and possibly what you got from it? That'd be great. Thank you. So I'll start with you, Alana. Josh, thanks.
Sorry. Yeah, so I did Unique between, I think it was the summer of year 12 and 13. Feels like ages ago, but it wasn't.
I do remember you. Yeah, I must say, I do remember
your name. It's like, I'm sure I recognise your name.
Yeah.
So basically Unique. I think it's a week. It's like a week-long residential in Oxford. So you live in one of the colleges, and it's like kind of doing a bit of like, it's like a week-long course. So you apply for it. There's specific requirements you have to meet. So I did the biology one, and there were 10 of us. We stayed in Brasenose College, and we did like different activities each day. So we had some kind of lecture style things. We did some labs. I think we went to Whiteton Woods and the Botanic Gardens one day, I think, as well. And also we had a mini tutorial at the end of the week. And it was kind of like an immersive experience in what it was like to be a student living away from home, doing kind of uni work type of things. But also it was nice as well because you could talk to the tutors, and we had a student ambassador that was with us throughout the whole week. So we bombarded her with questions about what it was like to study biology as well. And it was a nice way to get to look around Oxford as well. And that really helped me to decide that I wanted to apply here as well. It was a really good experience. If there is anyone watching that's kind of in the right age range to do it, I would definitely apply to do it. Cause it was like one of the best, I think it was the best thing I've ever done up to this point. Like, I really recommend it.
That's lovely to hear. Thank you. And Josh, how about you?
Yeah, so I went to Unique in 2015, which does feel like a long time ago now, and is a long time ago. So before I went to Unique, I really didn't think I was going to apply for Oxford. I even got the place on Unique and went, I'm still not applying for Oxford. And then I went on Unique, I was like, I am now applying for Oxford. So yeah, it made a really big difference. I would not be here if it wasn't for Unique. I made friends there, which I still, like, I kept in touch with throughout the whole of my degree. They were there like right up until the end. So yeah, it's just a really good experience, and I think it really kind of shows that it doesn't matter where you come from, there is definitely a place for you in Oxford.
Fab, really nice to hear. Thank you both. I'm going to come back to you now, Elizabeth. We've had a question from Bradley saying, how do you feel about the breadth of biology on the course? Quite an open-ended question, but as I was saying before, it's a very varied course. What are the pros and
for me, it's pretty great because the course is relatively broad. So you have genetics, and then you have ecology, evolution, and in the second year you can also do behavior, adaptations, disease. So there's quite a lot. It's not so much if you're into human biology, but for me, that's like not a bad thing. I think it's pretty great, especially if you don't really know what you want to specialize in, because you start off broad and you can gradually remove things that you don't like. So yeah, I found it pretty good.
Yeah. And Jane, how about you? Are you beginning to kind of sculpt out areas of specific interest within the course? You're on mute again.
Gosh, I just like the way they've structured first year, the course and the content you do. They do basically ensure that you've got a really solid basis of biology, to then guide you through the next year. So I found that good, even though there's obviously certain topics that I enjoy more so than others in first year. It's nice to know that it's just the foundational level. Get that sorted in first year, and then you can go ahead and really know what you're more interested in, and then select that further on in the course. And I do have more of an idea. I did going into it, and I do more so now, about more specific topics that I really just enjoy a lot.
Fun. I'm going to start with Josh, given he is Mr. Graduate, but future plans, Josh, having done this biology degree now, what is it that you are passionate and wanting to take forward, future plan career-wise?
So this year I'm going to do the master's course at Imperial in tropical forest ecology. And right now I'm talking to supervisors in Oxford and Cambridge about doing a PhD with them. Hopefully that works out. And then if I get onto the PhD, then hopefully I'll just sort of go down the academic route, become a researcher, professor, hopefully, if I was really good. But yeah, that's sort of the area I want to go into. But obviously I know a lot of students who don't want to do that, and they don't want to become academics. And there's plenty of options of people going into finance, banking, journalism, law. There's lots of options, but that's my specific interest.
Yeah. And I don't know, the other three of you are still in the degree course. So, I mean, I always hated being asked when I was midway through my degree what I wanted to do. But do any of you have kind of any inklings? Alana's hiding, so I'm going to come to Alana first. Do you have any kind of, at this moment in time, or is that just a completely ridiculous me?
At the minute, I think I just don't have a clue, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, that's fine.
I've got more of an idea now of the kind of areas that I'm more interested in. So I'll probably, in second and third year, I'll pick those modules and see kind of just where that takes me, really. Because I just, in terms of career plans, I don't really have any at the minute. I'm just kind of going to see what happens, really.
That is a-okay. Absolutely fine. Elizabeth, Jane, do you guys have any ideas, or have you had any kind of known of people that have gone on to kind of fun careers post biology? Oh, do you have it? Sorry, I thought Alana was halfway through her hand there. No, I just thought I'd ask the question. It's an unfair one, I know, but Josh, go for it.
I will just add that I did not know what I wanted to do till third year. So like, if people are like deciding, going, oh my God, I don't know what I want to do, it really doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It takes a long time to figure out, and it's worth taking time to figure it out.
Absolutely agreed. I was exactly the same. So we've had someone just ask, is there a huge jump between A-level biology and the biology degree? Dun, dun, dun. Elizabeth, going from school biology to university biology, how was it for you?
I think it's definitely a big step, because some things that you cover, even in first year, you've kind of never really gone over at all during A-level school biology. Some of the topics you kind of build on A-level foundation, so you have sort of some base knowledge, but then it definitely goes into a lot more detail. And then sort of the aspect about thinking about how views are like changing, and how what someone might have previously thought as theory is not really like a sure theory. That's definitely new. So I think it's more of the way of thinking than the content that makes university biology a lot different to school biology.
Yeah, that's fair. How about you, Jane? Did you feel a particular jump? I mean, obviously, school to uni.
Yeah, so of course, content-wise, first of all, you do notice there's a lot of, I guess, more things you learn about as well, especially in kind of ecology and evolution. I found A-level biology didn't really go super in depth into that kind of thing. So it was quite like an enjoyable experience to learn more about the different theories that exist in biology. But as well, I guess, in terms of what you're actually doing, essays were quite new. In biology, we didn't do those at A-levels unless you did, say, a humanities subject. But getting used to that at first, I was a bit like, wow, essays in biology, crazy. But you do get used to it. And it's really good.
Yeah, that you've all answered one of the questions that just pinged through, being like, oh, what are the essays like? Because if people at high school haven't maybe had, if they've chosen the science subjects, kind of had exposure to that. So how did you get yourself into kind of essay writing mode then of coming to uni, Jane? Was it a bit of trial and error? Was there, I mean, I guess the tutorials help kind of tease out a lot of what you're kind of needing knowledge base wise to kind of put into a good kind of line of thought and a good argument and a good essay, right?
Yeah. I mean, the tutors at first, they don't expect you to have be really great at essay writing. I know I look back at my first essay and it was awful. So I wouldn't stress too much about, you do have time to kind of practice. And of course, you're constantly getting feedback from your tutors. Whilst in tutorials as well, you do start to get more of an idea of the type of discussion that you're having and the ways to approach a particular question. So it is, again, like you mentioned, Elizabeth, about the different style of kind of thinking about questions. That's really what they're exploring in tutorials, and with that, the essays.
Perfectly answered. Thank you very much. Alana, I'm going to come to you with kind of a two-pronged question. We've had someone ask, so when you come to interview, you might interview at more than one college. So do the set of questions that you ask differ between colleges? And then on top of that, we've had someone ask, would you recommend keeping kind of on top of all the biological developments, saying reading Nature, for example?
So yeah, with the first one, I had two interviews. I was interviewed at Worcester and at Cable, and I was asked completely different questions, completely different topics. In my first interview, I was given some graphs, and we were talking about salamanders. I think we talked about bioluminescent algae as well, I think.
Fun.
And then in my second interview, I was given a photo of some lizard and asked about why they were so brightly coloured, and it was completely different topics. But yeah, it's important, even though you're covering different topics, it's important to show the thought process that you're going through in both interviews, like no matter what the question is asking, because the tutors are really kind of wanting to look at how you think and whether that would be whether you'd be a good fit for the style of teaching at Oxford. And with the second question, I would say it is important to kind of keep as up to date as you can. I personally didn't read. I don't think I read many Nature articles. I wouldn't say you have to read everything. Like if you're like kind of scanning through, sometimes like, oh, that sounds interesting, I would read that over than reading some like massive long thing about some gene you've never heard of in your life. Like I personally wouldn't do that. Like I'd more focus on something that interests you or something that's kind of really relevant nowadays. That's kind of what I'd more go for in terms of preparation.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail there with kind of what interests you. You have to want to be able to kind of think about it and question it and have a discussion on it if it is asked, during interview. So yeah, I agree with you there that doing something or keeping up with things that interest you in particular is worthwhile. Yeah. Anyone else want to talk about the comparison between the two college interviews that they had?
I can talk about my two.
Go for it, Elizabeth.
I interviewed at Hilda's and I also interviewed at LMH, and my Hilda's interview was mostly focused on my personal statement and also looking at some artifacts. Whereas during my LMH interview, we sort of had like I think it was a third year like exam paper, and then we just kind of went through the questions, and I'm pretty sure I interpreted everything wrong, but it was fine. And they asked me some pretty strange questions. They also asked me why I chose the college, which was a bit strange because I didn't choose that college. But I mean, sometimes you just kind of got to go with the flow. But yeah, my two interviews are definitely quite different.
So I just have eyes on the time now, and the hour has flown by. I'm sure you'll agree. So I'm going to finish up with just one question, and I'm going to ask it of all four of you just to wrap up, and that is, maybe predictably, what piece of advice would you give to future applicants? So, kind of students watching this chat now, they've got this interest in biology. They think Oxford might be for them. Future advice. I'm going to start with a very pensive looking Josh at the moment.
So my future advice would probably be just do what you enjoy for now. Like, don't put pressure on it. Don't think you need to be like this amazing genius student who knows about everything in biology. Like, if you want to read a book, choose a book you like, not a book you think the tutor will like. Just sort of be yourself and see where that takes you in terms of biology. Look at your passions, look at your interests, think about why you like it, and don't put too much pressure on where you're going right now.
Nice, I like that. Thank you. Al, how about you?
I actually really agree with what Josh has said. I think it's important to focus on the areas that you're really excited about, and to kind of when you're writing your personal statement and having your interview, to kind of show that enthusiasm to the tutor. But also it's important as well to kind of, in the interviews especially, to kind of stay calm as much as you can. Your ideas are presented really like clearly. But yeah, overall I would just say kind of stay excited, really.
Oh, sweet. I like that. Thanks, Hannah. Jane, how about you?
I guess as well, leading up to interviews, it can be a very stressful, nerve-wracking period. My number one, tip for preparation would genuinely just be prepare as much as will make you feel comfortable and ready to walk into the room and really show the tutors kind of who you are as a person as well. And ready, because everybody going is very capable, so you just really show them your personality and your interest in biology, obviously.
Yeah, no, great advice. Thank you, Jane. And lastly, Elizabeth, sorry, you've heard 3 bits of great advice. Now it's your fourth bit of advice, parting advice.
So yeah, I think I would really agree with everything that the others have said. I think in terms of interview preparation, I think going over like maybe getting a friend to ask you some interview questions, at least for me, was a pretty good way because I'm quite a shy person. I don't really like talking to people in depth when I've never really met before. So just kind of practicing going over things definitely like helps calm you down. And then I guess there's also like you should definitely not apply if you're not like committed. If you don't actually want to go to Oxford, because it's definitely a lot different to all the other courses. So you kind of need to be ready to put the work in. But it's a pretty rewarding experience. So definitely recommend.
Beautiful, thank you. Well, you four have been wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope everyone watching has enjoyed the session and found it useful. We will be calling time very shortly. We hope the open day has been helpful to you. There is much more information available on our biology website, which is biology.ox.ac.uk. We are also on Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter, we are Oxford Biology. And then to keep you on your toes on Instagram, we are Biology Oxford. So lots of great content always being pushed out on social and web. So be in touch should you have further questions. But for now, that is us finished. So thank you once again to Jane, Josh, Alana, and Elizabeth, who have been fabulous. Thank you, guys. Bye.